Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Dregley, and I'm the Director of Exceptional Student Services with Grad Solutions.
Hi, I'm Sherry, and Adam and I are a part of the clinical team here at Grad Solutions, and we want to welcome you to our first virtual workshop. Today may be April Fool's, but we all know that anxiety is no joke. So let's get started on some ways we can all be aware and work through these anxieties.
Today's objectives include identifying the common symptoms of anxiety, as well as the cycle of anxiety and how it works in our bodies and minds. We'll also identify some solutions for coping with anxiety, and then briefly touch on some additional resources for assistance in education. Our goal today is really to keep things solution focused so that you can take one or two things with you to make life just a little bit easier. At the end of our presentation, we'll do our very best to answer your questions as they come up. So feel free to type them into the chat and we'll get to them as soon as we're done. The symptoms of anxiety really fall into two buckets, the somatic and cognitive. Think of somatic as your body and cognitive as thoughts and feelings. The somatic experience of anxiety often includes sweaty hands and feet. Tingling sensations occur as well. Some people can experience physical pain, especially in their heads or chests. In rare instances, but within normal thresholds, some folks will experience difficulty breathing, dizziness, or even physical tension. A lot of these symptoms come from the overproduction and the release of extra adrenaline during perceived vulnerability.
On the cognitive side, you can experience a feeling of uncontrollable worry or restlessness, irritability, an inability to organize or have racing thoughts, feelings that are difficult to understand. Feelings get messy, and especially when we're anxious, we can even struggle to tell the difference between what is a feeling and what is truth.
We should really take a moment here to note that everyone's symptoms of anxiety are unique and different. Most of the time, cognitive symptoms like difficulty focusing or racing thoughts happen before you start to experience any physical symptoms. These symptoms, once again, are really just a release of adrenaline triggered by distressing or worrying thoughts. It's a natural response to the feeling of danger. Everybody has basic physical and safety needs that have to be met in order to function. When these needs are threatened, or you feel like they're threatened, you'll probably feel anxiety. Right now, for example, some people may not feel safe or secure with everything changing in the world. It would make sense that these changes and vulnerabilities would lead to increased anxiety. But for those who already have anxiety, these events could add to the thoughts and feelings associated with vulnerability, change, and the fear associated with the anxious experience. Sometimes you can feel anxiety about anxiety. The anxious experience really comes from the connection between our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. When we have anxious thoughts, they feed into anxious feelings and may cause us to act in anxious ways. A child who's worried about food, for example, may think that they won't have food in the future and they'll eat a ton. An adult may feel the creep of anxiety and they begin thinking that something is wrong, anxiously wringing their hands or tapping their feet. We can even explain recent grocery store behavior with this model. People recently felt threatened and worried about the future, so they thought they needed to protect themselves. Makes sense. They went out and they purchased a lot of food and hygiene items as a way to cope with their feelings of vulnerability and worry, protecting you against future anxiety. There are great ways, though, to cope with anxiety. One great way is called thought stopping. Put both your feet on the floor, take a deep breath, and imagine a giant stop sign in your mind. It's giant and red. It fills up all of your vision. And then say to yourself, or scream to yourself, stop. Everything's okay. I'm okay. You can also check in with your physical environment and your body. What's going on around you? What do your feet feel like? Do they tingle? Because that really suggests you have some anxiety. Some people go through the environment, identifying things you can see, touch, smell, hear, and taste. Lots of uh, counselors and psychologists will go through 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can smell, 2 you can hear, and 1 you can taste. Just check in with your body and be mindful of the present. You can also breathe. Take 10 slow breaths, then do 10 more. Marines will use box breathing, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 more, exhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, and then repeat. After a few minutes, you'll trigger your body to relax and calm down. You'll reabsorb all that extra adrenaline, and you'll experience a sense of peace. You can, if you want, review and challenge your thoughts. Ask yourself, are there evidence for the things and thoughts that are going through your mind? Is the worst case scenario really likely to happen? How have things turned out in the past? Are they likely to turn out the same way? Then ask yourself how much you believe that. Do you believe 100% that this will be the worst case? 50%? What can you do to reduce that number?
Another solution would be to be mindful. Yoga and thoughtful breathing are a great way to do this, exhaling the anxiety away, relaxing, consciously exhaling the thought or the situation that is troubling. Focus specifically on a thing, person, or a situation that brings you peace, like the ocean, pine trees. Your goal is to bring your mind and your body to the same place, creating a union between the two. Another solution would be distractions. Watch a movie, listen to music, enjoy a favorite hobby, take a walk, or play a game. Anything that will take your mind off of what is causing the anxiety. Distractions can be good if it can help us gain some perspective. Also, be aware. What's the trigger? Journal, draw, or chart the emotions as they happen. Try to keep track of what triggers these feelings. If you can narrow down the cause, you can begin to either eliminate or at least prepare for it. If you know you have a big test coming up on Friday and you know it's a critical one for a grade, don't wait till Thursday to study or reach out. Contact your teacher or mentor early in the week and give yourself the opportunity to do well by being proactive instead of reactive. We know that being reactive can often lead to great anxiety.
You can also access supports for anxiety online. The Anxiety and Depression Association of America, as well as NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, provide supports and resources for the general public. You can also reach out to the Crisis Response Network for immediate support. If you feel like counseling might be a better option, you can find a list of counselors and psychologists accepting new clients online at psychologytoday.com. For Grad Solutions students and staff, we offer free and greatly reduced fee counseling through our licensed professional counselor, Val. Anything discussed in session remains confidential and private as required by state and federal law. We're offering telemental health appointments in lieu of in-person appointments with everything going on.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to your teacher, a member of our team, for further assistance and resources. We do have bookmarks that are available upon request, and we're all here to help. Remember, no one has to walk this journey alone. We hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Right now, we're going to take some questions um, from the chat. One individual asked, how do I sign up for telecounseling? Students and staff can sign up for telecounseling in a variety of ways. Staff, go ahead and email Val. Students, ask your orientation counselor or mentor to submit a referral for you. Our community resource specialist, part of the clinical team, will reach out, take some basic information, and connect you to Val for free or reduced fee counseling. Currently, students receive 4 free sessions, and price depends on income, that kind of stuff. It's super affordable though compared to what occurs in the public. How do parents get resources? Parents can reach out to their student's orientation counselor or mentor. We offer counseling, as previously discussed, and we have a community resource specialist who coordinates community-based services and interventions so that you can get the help and support you need. That can involve things like, how do I get free bus passes, to I'm currently experiencing homelessness. We can work with families and community agencies to address a lot of barriers. Any apps that would be helpful? Absolutely. There are lots of apps on the app stores, both Google Play and the Apple App Store, for meditation, relaxation, and mindfulness. Mindfulness would definitely be your keyword to search for. My personal favorite app is called Calm, and it offers sleep stories to help you fall and stay asleep, mindfulness activities, deep breathing, visual and guided imagery, and even just relaxing sounds and music. You can get the Calm app in almost every app store actually, and they offer Apple TV and Roku apps so that you can listen to guided imagery and relaxing sounds on your TV. How can I help my child deal with day-to-day anxiety? Children often don't have the ability to comprehend fully and talk about fully their anxious experience. So the first step to helping kids deal with anxiety is to help to identify, oh, you look a little bit anxious. Oh, it seems you might be worried about something. And then ask, what kind of thoughts and feelings are you having right now? Kids will be able to walk through their thoughts and feelings, and as long as you provide a safe, validating experience, they'll kind of work through it on their own. I like to build in moments for mindfulness with kids. It's a fun game where every 2 hours, you remind everybody, hey, we got to do our deep breathing for a minute. And you time it, and everybody just kind of centers themselves, takes some slow, deep breaths, and brings their focus back into the present. Um, Another person asks, are there ways to start my morning off? I'm more anxious in the morning. Absolutely. So one, I would ask you, how's your sleep? Are you getting the needed amount of sleep? Is it restful sleep? And then I would say, is it possible for you to not use your phone first thing in the morning? It's a lot of stimuli, work emails, personal emails, text messages. If you can take an hour to just be present in your body, practice some gratitude, think of the things that bring you joy and happiness, you should be able to start the day in a calmer space rather than one that's reactionary. One person asked, how can we keep calm during COVID-19? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Identifying that feelings are contagious is a big thing. Psychologists will refer to emotional contagion, where one group of people feels something and then everybody starts to feel it. So when you're around anxious people, you're going to adopt that anxious outlook and start to feel those anxious feelings. So take a moment, turn off the TV, reach out to your friends, make jokes, stay connected, distant but connected, and allow yourself to be a little bit messy right now. It's okay to be anxious. Anxiety is a normal, natural response to threat and danger. And we all feel kind of threatened and vulnerable right now. You can also use things like relaxation, self care strategies like painting or art, exercise. Those things will all help to make the world a little more bearable right now. One person mentioned visual and guided imagery in the chat, and that's a great way to cope with anxiety. Plan out what your first day out in the community is going to be like. What time are you going to wake up? What are you going to do first? What's the what's the sun going to feel like on your face? Are you going to feel a little bit anxious or excited? Kind of walk through all of that. Um, I wanted to take a moment at this point to thank you guys for working with Grad Solutions. We really appreciate everybody's trust and respect, and we're super happy to help in any way we can. If you guys need anything, we're going to send out an email after this presentation with Sherry's contact information, my contact information, as well as a copy of this presentation and a list of resources and supports for you to help deal with anxiety. Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate your time.